Hello my friends, welcome to another WAVRE video. We are this time playing as the mighty Prussians. We can see, of course, the Iron Cross there, looking beautiful as ever. And all we know right now is that we've got a force of French approaching WAVRE. We've got to try to delay them as long as possible. But all we have to do that, or the only units we have to do that with, are a division. That doesn't make things very easy for us, as you can imagine. But I already see those French approaching, and I'm going to be setting my men up as best I can here. And I think what I'm going to try to do is get a sort of concave pattern, if that makes sense. Essentially aiming at the enemy from multiple directions here, so that when they do arrive, despite outnumbering us, and here we go, the second objective will appear 20 minutes from the start. Basically aiming at them from multiple locations so that as soon as they come into our line of sight, we're going to be able to start targeting them from many different areas here and not just from the front. So we will, of course, move this around. We'll move this particular formation around as time permits. But right now, that's going to be what I'm going to do. So we're, of course, moving our general up. We've got some wonderful skirmishers over here in the front that are going to do a great job, we hope, at holding back the French, at least temporarily. And we've also got some units here, as you can see, one division of infantry, which I'm going to move in as a reserve corps. So we're going to move them in right there. I think they should be placed pretty well as a reserve corps. We're going to wait for the French to get into range, and then, of course, the battle shall begin. I'm pretty confident of this defense, despite being outnumbered, but, again, only time will tell. Also depends on a lot of different factors, namely how the French are going to actually approach us. I'm thinking they're just going to approach us right up here from the front. They are firing cannons at us from the top of the hill here, which makes our job quite a bit more complicated, but I feel confident that we can stop them. So let's go ahead. We've got these skirmishers. I think the skirmishers can move up already and start firing on the enemy. Of course, they will retreat at will, just like a skirmisher unit would. Basically, get a few shots in, try to take down some of the approaching French forces, and then pull back to the main lines. So here we go. I think the shooting should begin very soon, and I am going to let these skirmishers fire at will. I'm not going to order them to hold their fire or anything like that. In fact, they've already spotted the first group of French troops arriving, and they're going to begin their fusillade. There we go. That's what we like to see. Kill as many of those blue coats as you can, Mena. They must not cross into WAVRE. Well, let's hope so anyway. So here we go. The shooting has begun. Of course, we can see some potholes here. We're definitely being targeted by the enemy artillery, but I'm hoping that by the time the enemy gets here, if this makes any sense, that artillery won't be too much of an issue. I'm not liking how this unit is moving at all. We're going to go ahead and make sure that they're getting into that frontal position. We've already got the 2 units we wanted here, and of course we've got this other unit that's crossing the bridge right now that's also going to arrive to the fight. So I want to make sure that no matter what we do, we have this position set up for the oncoming French attack. And of course, if we can hold the French off here, that would be tremendous. That would really help out our forces that are now arriving at WAVRE. But I'm not feeling good about this other unit over here. He's really taking his time to get into position. He should have already been there. But I think these guys are just slowly figuring out how to move. Who knows? Maybe they just made it out of training. They are now moving to the designated position. We're going to hold ourselves just outside of the town here. And of course, if we need to, if need be, we will retreat back into WAVRE itself and hold from there. But for now, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I'm also going to bring this general behind the line just a little bit, and I think that the skirmishers are probably going to do the same. They're going to pull back very soon, and there we go. Sure enough, these skirmishers are definitely going to pull back. Let's take a look there. Wait a minute. I want to make sure we're not accidentally getting this unit to go too far, but I don't think we are. Let's take a look at these men. Get that flag in range. We've already got these guys on the right side. They're going to act as a sort of buffer unit, if that makes sense. So yeah, these guys are already moving up, and the skirmishers are just acting like skirmishers should. Basically shooting, running, etc., etc. We've got this other unit, of course, this other detachment that's going to try to defend this location. And remember, we can't let the enemy get past here. So I'm going to put these guys over here on the right side, since this unit on the right doesn't seem particularly over strength, or they seem a little under strength, to be honest. The Fusilier Battalion, Van Rysel Brigade, of course. So here we go. This is how I want things set up. Of course, I want these generals sort of behind the men so that they don't get shot. That would be a bit of a tragedy to have our generals shot this early on in the battle. But our skirmishers are still doing their deadly work. and I don't want to stop them from it. So here we go. We might even try to get one of the guys on the other side of that farmhouse there. Actually, it looks like more like a townhouse. Skirmishers are still firing on the French. We see a few French bodies off there in the distance that are going to probably continue to grow as long as we do our jobs properly. But all of that matters, or all of that depends on just how well our men are willing to fight and just how hard they're willing to fight. I do hope that we start getting some shots very soon with our regular infantry brigades. But of course, we'll have to see how that works out. Come on, men. Move back. Ja, das ist very good. Alright, men. The French dogs are approaching. Be prepared to fire. And I'm going to put all these guys on volley fire right there. I'm already going to basically get them ready for that. I'm going to do the same with these guys. We're going to put them on volley fire. Because this will allow us to fire very large amounts all at once, which I think is going to intimidate the French a little bit more than if we were just to kind of, you know, hope for the best and let our men just fire at will. I'm also using this unit right here. I was thinking of putting them over there on that right side, which we still might do, but maybe we should just keep them as a reserve unit behind our men. So I think for now, we're going to actually have to ask them to stop right there. We won't have them join the battle quite yet. Of course, ultimately we will. But it looks like our skirmishers are bringing the French closer and closer to our lines to get that deadly volley fire on them. And we should be able to engage these men very, very soon. We also have to worry about charges, of course. Charges would hurt us significantly. But we can see a lot of French bodies dropping there. That's exactly what we want. I'm just waiting for the enemy to get into range. And I think we're going to be in a decent position to hold off the French here. Taking a look here at the lines. We could actually move these guys forward just a little bit. Alright, they're going to begin shooting any moment now. They've definitely spotted something. I'm going to let them let loose. Boom! Oh, look at that group that just dropped. At this time, I'm going to let these guys on the left fire at will, while the central brigades will, of course, have that volley fire set up. I think it's important to keep a continuous, steady stream of fire on the enemy here, if possible. So let's go ahead and make sure that they are on the fire at will option. Enemy's getting quite close to our skirmishers here, but they're still managing to hold the French off. If we could get this first group of French, the 34M de ligne, to fall back, that would really, really help us, without a doubt. Here we go. Let's go ahead and let them fire. Fire that volley. Oh, a crashing shot, a cracking shot, however you want to put it, through those French lines. And it does look like some of them were attempting here to maybe start a charge. So we need to be careful, of course. And at this point, our men are all on the fire at will. I think we want to put them back on volley fire. Maybe let the central unit fire as they please. And it looks like even this rear unit is firing. So we actually got quite lucky that they're continuing to fire without any real orders to do so. I actually quite like this situation. Let's make sure our men here on the right are shooting too. Yes, they are. The Fusiliers. Very nice. So that unit right at the front, that French unit, looks like they're going to be falling back very soon, unless they have, you know, hearts of iron. At this point, they're absolutely going to be forced to fall back. We've got them trapped on all different sides. I love this position that we have. I would possibly like to take this unit over here and move them over there to the right side. I do see the French getting awfully close to that right side, but I think we'll keep them here just for now. Of course, if we need to, we'll start focusing on them. In fact, I am going to turn this unit, the Fusiliers, to face that enemy unit head-on and try to keep them at bay while we focus on the rest of the enemy here. I'm pretty sure these are the only units we have for this battle. We might have some units behind. I know there's a cavalry unit, but we do not control them in this part of the fight. So right now, we're just going to keep up the fire. Of course, most of this is fire at will, not volley fire, and I think it's going to work out for now. We've managed to actually stop that French force, and yes, I do think that eventually here, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get these guys to go over here. So that's what we're going to do with them. We'll go ahead and have them move there to the enemy's left flank, but they've got another group moving up, so this is getting pretty terrifying, as you can imagine, for just about everybody involved. I'd like to see the French bodies all over the place. They are definitely not in the best position. Let's get a look at our lines here. Looking vicious as ever. Shall not let the flag fall. Boom! There we go. That's a volley fire shot. Love it right there. Absolutely taking these French's heads off. You can see the bodies all over the place right now. As long as they don't charge, I feel fairly confident that we can hold this position. Now I want to take a look behind. I do want to bring, oh, do we have control of the cavalry now? I don't believe we do, unfortunately. We do have control of this general, though, so we'll bring him in for some morale. Just going to move the general. His unit is already trying to make it to that right side. Unfortunately, no other brigades over here that can support us. Nonetheless, I think these men are going to be able to be just fine in terms of support. In fact, we'll skip the flank. We'll just put them behind the Fusiliers so that once the Fusiliers fall back, which they very well might very soon here, we're going to have somebody to support them. So here we go. Continue the shooting, boys. Give them hell. Still got our skirmishers firing as well. They're doing an excellent job. I want to see one of these units retreat very soon here. Like I said, look at that setup. Not bad at all. Although, you know what? I keep changing my mind with this, and I think I actually will move these guys over here. I really hope these Fusiliers can hold their position, because if we're going to do this, we need to do it quickly. It looks like our cavalry reinforcements are arriving too, the echelon. Whether or not they can actually assist us here, I don't know. Remember, the French are pretty good at the box formation, the square formation, not to mention that they're getting some more reinforcements over there, and they're going to try their absolute best to break through our lines here. So we really do need to stand fast under any circumstances. Worst case scenario, we run into town and try to hold our positions there. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. I don't like the way these men are moving. Wish they had kind of gone around this way, but it's a bit late for that now. I'm actually going to have them run. I hope we don't get into an unnecessary close combat fight here. We might, because our men are passing awfully close to theirs, and this could lead to some, yep, sure enough, a charge. Not what I wanted, guys. Not at all what I was going for. Now, of course, we need to hope that this charge works out. Sometimes the pathfinding can be a little difficult, although I should have probably used the use roads button. And of course now we are in a protracted fight with the enemy here. We do have quite a large brigade. However, the fact is the enemy have plenty of reinforcements behind them, so this could be a major loss for us. We do see the first French line has fallen back. Makes me feel a little better. Keep fighting, men. Come on, mena. Got plenty of men there that can still hold the flanks, but still, I did not ask for this at all. Glory. We actually managed to take them prisoner. Absolutely glorious. Now we want to set up right here. Set up a frontal line to face this French line. It's good to see some Prussian soldiers, or excuse me, some French soldiers. I've got to remember who I'm fighting for here. As our prisoners. Very nice to see that, actually. But I hope our men can set up pretty quickly here and start returning fire at the enemy. Look at those French taking off. They are not liking this, and if we just see the bodies on the field, I can see why. And one thing that's concerning to me is the enemy over here on our far left flank. They're causing us some problems. We may need to go ahead and turn towards them to start throwing some damage their way. Although I'm liking this situation right now, I must say. Good work, men. Volley fire. You must do this for your Kaiser. Is it a Kaiser? I don't think it is. Fire! There we go. If we keep getting shots like that on the enemy, this is going to go very, very well, and we're going to be able to hold this line. So far, we've done a hell of a job, but let's hope that we can keep it up, guys. And let's hope that our cavalry reinforcements here can do okay. And look at that, just as I expected, the Fusiliers have left their position. There weren't many of them, unfortunately, so we're going to send them back to the front lines, even though they probably don't want us to do that. We've even got some skirmisher units here, which I might grab, just in an effort to try and hit those guys on the far left. In fact, right now, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to just turn the formation a little bit here so that we're totally facing those enemies, and we will continue firing. Hope you guys are enjoying this battle, and of course we will be back with more. Make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and let us know that you want to see some more WAVRE and we will certainly bring it to you. Now we're going to be getting some flanking shots on the remaining French infantry there in the middle of the battlefield. Of course, with this massive group of French arriving, I don't know how long we can hold out. We're supposed to hold out for an entire hour, and that seems like a fool's errand, but we shall not surrender, at least not without some serious force directed at us. In fact, I'm going to keep those skirmishers. They're already firing at that central position, and it looks like that left position is faltering a bit, so I might take the skirmishers and put them over here. I think that might be a better position for them. Definitely lost some men, for sure, but not nearly as many as the French. Keep on firing men. Take a look here at the right side. Well, guys, you know what you got to do. Hit that like button, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new. It looks like our Prussians here on the right had to fall back. That's not great news. So I actually might have the Fusiliers focus on the enemy here and continue the fight. Of course, I think these guys will reform fairly soon, let's hope anyway, to return to this battle. Alright guys, here we go.